more. What's up, yo? Trying and doing. Shaloha. Oh, we're gonna just wait a minute and see how many people get on here. The world's going cray cray. Hey, sus. What's up? Ben Valley. What's up, Barb? We don't have any storm down here. We good. What's up, Tristan Davis? You guys up to, man? The world's weird right now. You guys see that stuff going on in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho? Yeah, it's some kind of I would call it a terrorist attack. Just by the way it went, but who knows? We'll see what the media does with it. Yeah, it's kind of a trip. You know, fire going, and then firefighters come in and snipers up on a hill just picking them off as they come in to put the fire out. It's whatever. You're trying to make a statement, so it's whatever. Yeah, true that, Barb, for sure. Yeah. And what's going on with that vote, too, by the way? Is there anything happening with that? Yeah. Yeah, got it. Yeah, well, I was just, I was cruising through and saw the Trump stuff. Kind of, I realized it was in the back burner. You know, there's always agendas, but, you know, they'll probably find the dude with the, you know, Trump hat on, make America great again or something. And yeah, it'll be some stupid shit. Who knows? Yeah, maybe. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, Palmetto. I don't think they'll forget about this one in 6 months because it's rare to have somebody do that in a rural area like that. Just start sniping people off. I mean, they have stuff where you get like a drunk hillbilly standoff with the police, but this is a different thing. You know, just a different thing. But the fact that he only got two dudes, technically only, you know, for sure got two, which is interesting. Um, yeah, I don't know if there was more than that. Just kind of weird. Must not have been that good if he only got two, because he could have waited and got a whole mess of if he just waited a minute. But who knows? Oh, appreciate that trying and doing. Yeah. Yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. The media will forget about it for sure, but I think, you know, it's all goes in the data hopper. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it goes in the data hopper. Yeah, Psy Obscure. It's definitely got that all over it for sure. Faux show. How are you guys doing, man? I had a crazy fun day with my kids. Um, your potatoes are doing good, dope. The boat's dope, but would make it really dope is if it would like have spark and fire up, or at least have spark and kind of try to fire up so that I know that something else needs to be worked on. But we got no sparky. I've thrown a little bit of money and time at it, and you know I could probably buy some more parts and put them on myself, maybe. Um, but the bottom line is I'm not super good. Like, I don't trust myself to work on certain stuff. And if it's not, I could throw money at it and it still not solve the problem. And that's when I get pissed off. And I've done that a little bit already. And I'm kind of over that. So I would rather just take it into a shop and be like, hey, I actually met a dude that was pretty sharp. That seemed like he might be able to work on it for me. So we'll see what happens with that. I figure it's gonna cost about $500 or $600 just to get the sparkulators working. And there's only a couple things it could be. You have to run a bunch of tests, like ohms tests and voltage tests on multiple things to kind of get what is it and is it working or not kind of thing going. And I'm not super hip to that, so I don't mind plugging in electricity, but like using a test light, but like past that, I'm like, not my jam. But I'm also not really bummed out about it. It's not too big. We did make some big moves. Got the LLC up, and some other stuff on day of prep. So I called in the insurance. It's about $1,000 a year. And I get a pretty cool package deal on that, or not a grand, yeah, about $1,000 a year. Yeah, it's about $1,000 a year for the boater's insurance that I need that covers the boat for whatever the boat's worth, which isn't, it's not a shit ton, more than what I paid for it for sure. So it'll hopefully give me some kind of replacement. But it covers kind of like a 6-pack guide license thing. So I can have 6 people on the boat as far as like paying customers. So it's called the guide endorsement. And that's a super cool thing to have. I just want to make sure that if I had somebody on there that I could like make sure if something happened to them, I could be a good steward, right? That they were covered. And it wasn't really a requirement to have that one, but I would rather have it and not need it kind of thing, So, yep, that's it. And then I've been trying to figure out fish finders, man. They're like way different than when I was in it. I mean, kind of. The prices are way different. Cause like what we used to rock that was like $500 or $600 was like really good. I mean, you could get like $1,000 or $1,200 one, but that was like pro level. You didn't really need it. Now it's like the medium level ones are 1,000. They're anywhere from like 1,000 to 1,600, and I'm like, dang. Yeah. So it's been something else trying to figure all that stuff out. It's kind of cool. Wife's gone for a minute. Just me and the littles. So they wanted to go. Appreciate that, fam. They wanted to go fishing. Wait, what's it say? Oh, I appreciate you, Tristan. Bless you, brother. Yeah, dude. I can't tell you enough about these kids. I took them up to my brother Bobby's up north, and they got some fishing time in, and the boys got hooked on it. Well, Sammy, she likes the idea of it, but she lacks the skill. So she's snagging up like every cast or tangling like every 5 seconds. So like at some point she was just broke off or tangled, and that was it. She was out. But I took them bank fishing today, and I think we hit 2 spots. Yeah, 2 or 3 spots. Um, and the water's really high this year in Oklahoma. I mean, all the rivers are full. The rivers are full. Lakes are full. Yeah, little creeks. I mean, everything's been just like tons of rain, so everything's really full. So the water's high, and high water is like good for some stuff and not really good for bank fishing. Matter of fact, every time I've bank fished on high water in the past, it's been trash. Because the fish are like, hey, look at all this new stuff we get to hunt and fish in and like eat stuff, and they're not really interested in that. And there's just, it's like, who knows where they're at, right? Because the shoreline changes so much when the water goes up, and it's probably up 15 feet right now from what it was last year, which is a lot. It's a lot. And it's been up for a hot minute, and the locks are like wide open, dude. We went over to the dam and we were looking at the locks, and it is like whitewater rapids. And we went way downstream of that, and we started fishing a little bit, and it was gonna be good fishing, but we were using super light tackle, and it was probably like I don't know, maybe 20 feet down like the rocks to get to the water, which wasn't super bad. I mean, it wasn't like 100 feet, or like 35 feet like it was last year, but it was down there, and the wind, so when you cast out, the wind would like carry it back towards you almost. And we were using pretty light tackle like worms and little bait fish and stuff, and it just didn't have enough ass to get it out there, and keep it out there really, because we were floating. Because here's the thing about, if you're going to fish like Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas, they got a lot of man-made stuff, a lot of man-made rivers. And anytime you got man-made stuff, like the sides a lot of times are rocky, depending where you're at. They have really rocky sections because they bring it all in to kind of to build up the sides, and definitely in the rocky spot. And I told the kids, I said, this isn't like for beginners. This is tough fishing over here. This is like intermediate and up kind of fishing. Because you got to know how to, like, when you get it close to the bank, pop it up so it lands halfway up the rocks. So as soon as you hit the rocks, it doesn't like snag up. And then if it's only halfway down the rocks and you got to climb down, it's no big deal. But usually once you pop it up, and then you can pop it up the rest of the way, and it, your setup will come back to you. But not all the time. And I think the little guy, he got about 5 or 6 good casts in and got his stuff back, and he had to climb down and get his stuff untangled about 8 times after that. Well, kind of intermittent really. Like he'd get a few and then he'd go down, and get a few and he'd go down, and then it was just nonstop. And then he ended up breaking it off. The oldest son switched rods, multiple rods. He was on his 3rd rod and he wasn't happy, and it got tangled, and he was so mad. And I said, dude, like, you're doing this to the rods. It's not the rod's fault. I just told him, I said, listen, guys, I love you, but bank fishing kind of sucks in the scenario that we have right now. I mean, there's certain scenarios where it's really nice, but they got spoiled on the pond because it's like mowed grass up to it, and you basically cast out, and there's something sitting there, it's got nowhere else to go, and you can cast to the whole pond, so you're gonna catch a fish if they're in there. And so they got a little spoiled. And I said, listen, boat fishing's a little bit more like that, because basically when you're on a boat, I use maps, so I look like navionic maps. So I look at the contours of the water, the deep spots where there's transitions, where there's like ambush points, because if you understand how fish hunt, especially school fish, they like go off of points, where they like wait for bait fish to come through, and then they'll bam slam them. But that's in rivers and other stuff too. But anyhow, you can just find a bait ball. You just got to cruise, look for structure, and then you'll start mapping out like where the bottom is and what depth the fish are holding at. And then I use basically sonar. And then they've got all the new stuff now. They got like live scan sonar. So the sonar, basically, old sonar, it would send an echo down, a little boing, and as it came down, it would hit and it would wrap it, and everything that it hit would be a shorter signal back, and everything like wherever it hit, it would give timing, and so you'd get different shapes and sizes of stuff. And so the way that the live scan is, that's the old technology. Old technology is very slow. It's been around forever. I mean, it's the same thing that ships use. But it's slow in comparison to the live scan. So like the live scan and live imaging and mega imaging, it's so fast, and it's on like, I think it's got like different levels of hertz. And so it'll have like from 50 hertz up to 250 or 300 hertz on the rating of different signals that it gives. And so then it can paint almost a really pretty image. So if you've got structure down there and it's like a car, you can tell that it's a car. If it's a bass, you can tell it's a bass, kind of stuff. And it's really neat, you know. They got a lot of really, really good stuff. I'm gonna tell you right now, the electronics that are like mind-blowing are also bank robbing. They're so expensive. They're like $3,500 to get the pro setup on your boat, and that's the bottom of the barrel pro setup. Now, I'm like, I can't do that. I mean, it's like for rich people. Maybe when I'm balling, you know, like someday if I hit the lottery or something happens and I've got like, you know, an extra 20 grand sitting around, I'll go ahead and spend the, you know, $5 on the pro setup and get the double sonar screens front and back and all the live image stuff, you know, have my little drones swimming down there taking pictures of fish, whatever it is. But I can't afford that stuff right now. It's crazy how expensive. But I am going to probably have to spend a decent amount to get something that's at least comparable with the times. You know, I've been kind of out of the loop for about 5 years, and I've, you know, kept up with a little bit of it. All the fishing techniques are basically the same. It's funny because if you watch fishing long enough, they go through cycles of stuff that used to work. You like, if you ever go to a yard sale and you see all these vintage lures and vintage colors, they're like red and white or gold and black, you know, or white with you know, chartreuse head, which is a French word of sand, fluorescent yellow. It's like all these things, and you can look at them from like the 50s or 60s, and that same color pattern works today. It's just on a different piece of whatever, right? It's the same principle. And so, like, I don't get too hung up on all this stuff. Now, there is certain stuff that works better than others when you're targeting specific species, but yeah, it's not, none of that stuff's rocket science. You know, a lot of people sell the idea of, well, you got to have this or you're not going to be on. Yeah, no, dude. I mean, yes, on some of it, sure, for sure. But you can't go wrong using live bait. And people are like, no, man, it's, you know, go artificial. And I'm like, why? You know, like, if live bait's what they eat and all I got to do is throw a throw net for that, let's do it, right? So, anyhow, just throwing some of that out there. Let me catch up with this chat. I'm not going to catch up with it, but let me spin through it really quick. Oh, yeah. Palmetto said something about Christmas trees. Yeah, people still do that. They make artificial stuff that people actually throw in there now that keeps your lures from getting snagged up on it. Yeah, it's really cool. But it kind of gives the fish the same kind of feeling as, you know, if a crappie or a bass or a sunfish, a lot of those guys, they like to be able to stick their flipper out and touch something. And that's where their comfort zone is. So, like, you got to be, like, in the brush catching them. Thanks, Justin. When you hit the lottery, I'll have it. I appreciate you, brother. You'll have it, too, if I hit the lottery. Greetings from Norway. English or Spanish? Obviously English. Yeah. Hey, dude. Return to Yeshua. Copy. Did you know there's no J in Hebrew? So his name really wasn't Jesus. I know, it's weird, right? And don't trip, because I'm not a holy namer. Do the best you can with what you got. Mouth of the Columbia River? Woo, boy, what side? Oregon or Washington side? Just a question. I'm waiting on trying to do it. Got a big lag though, so it might take a minute. Washington side, cool. I've been on the Oregon side, and I've been on the river on the Washington side, but I haven't been on the bank over there. I mean, briefly, I drove over it and like checked out a meeting or something like that over there, and then came back. Which that's a dope bridge, by the way. It feels like it's like a mile long. The river is super wide right there, and Warrington, Oregon, which is pretty much the furthest point in Oregon you can get to, I think. And also it's right next to a town called, what is it called? Shit, I can't think of it, dude. But that's where the Goonies was filmed. Astoria, that's what it is, Astoria, Oregon. And it is beautiful. And talk about good food. Holy schmackers, dude. Yeah, everything's like 5-course meals. Catch me outside. How about that, Miguel? Huh? I'm outside. I just heard it in the Batman voice. Didn't make me scared at all. $20-mile canoe trip. Dude, canoes suck, man. I can't even imagine 5 miles on a canoe. Like, my hip thrusters would be like, ah, no bueno. Yeah, you got it. Astoria. Well, somebody got raptured out of the chat just now. That was nice. All right. Not happy Pride Month. Raptured out of the chat. No, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe. Oh, what's up, son? You can't be in here like that. I'm live. What?
Can I have blueberries?
You can have a little bit of blueberries. Do not eat all of them, because I want some. Like a little handful.
Okay.
A little handful. Okay. Not like a giant hand. Not like daddy's hand. Look. All right, shut. Yeah, get out of here. Shut the door. Love you.
Love you too, Dad.
What's up, Mark Chase? Whoo, boy. Yeah, dude. But the boat, man. The boat's cool. I actually, I was looking at flooring. It had carpet in it. And it had a bunch of like, they pulled the carpet out because it was probably funky. But it's got like the old carpet glue. And it's not like wood where you can just like scrape it off. It's like aluminum decking. And I don't want to tear it all up or gouge it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like rhino liner the deck of the boat with like a tan or a gray. That way, if I get like fish guts on it, I can just power wash it off and scrub it. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. Thanks, Kermode. Yeah, well, and I like carpet, and I like the EVA foam, but the problem is like, how many trips, I mean, some of you guys know me. Just imagine me stuffing my face with Cheetos on the boat while we're cruising around catching fish. How many trips of Cheetos and fish guts will it be before carpet or EVA, awesome looking flooring is just nasty. I mean, the EVA foam, which is really cool looking stuff. I don't know if you guys are keeping up with it. It looks tight. And I'll probably put some of that in there just because I have some of it. It came with the boat, but it's gonna get wrecked, dude. And yeah, you can scrub it and stuff like that. But if you guys ever had like a fishing rod and it had like the foamy grip and it was like a colored one, bro, yeah, one cut bait fishing trip where you were busy putting bait on and you didn't wash your hands and you touched that thing, it will never be the same. And it's gonna be the same thing with this stuff. It's just gonna get yucked up. So I'd rather have something that I could wash off or like put another coat on if it got really bad. And the cool thing is it's like a rhino liner, so it's got grippy, you know, it's like a grippy kind of feel to it. And I thought that might be good. Now, given when we get wet, if we're leaning over the side, what's that going to be like? But that's really kind of any boat. The difference on pontoon boats is the rails are not very high, so it's not like you can lean over. So I bought, damn, I wish I had it in here. I bought today, I've been collecting stuff for the boat slowly as I can find it. I got the anchors, the front and the rear anchor today, and I got some nets. I ended up buying 3 because the first 2 that I got were like, okay, this one's gonna be kind of the just for big whatever, you know, just for big fish that we probably won't use that much. But it's in case we need it, we got it. And then I got this other one, which is like the newer nets. They've got like the cooler nets. They're not that new. They've been out for 20 years. They got like a rubber coating on the net, and that's really so that your hooks don't get tangled up in the mesh, and you can unhook them easy, and the fish come out better. They don't get all tangled up, and it protects the netting a long time, being on the sun and all that. It's got like what is it on there? It's like a silicone. They're like siliconized. But I found one and it was like, all right, this will be great for stripers because we got lures or whatever, we hook them up, get them in the boat, and then we can unhook them and they won't get snagged up in there super easy and wreck the net. Because if you ever had a hook go in your net, it frays it, and then the net starts getting holes in it and you have to like tie it back, and it never does. It kind of goes away after a while. What's up, Patty Sanchez? What's up, Scott? Who else on here? A bunch of people came on, huh? Anyhow, so I went to Academy, and Academy had this extension one, dude. And it was so nice, and it was damn the same price, except for it was better than the one at Walmart, because like the handle was like, I don't know, I can't really show you guys, it's like 3 feet long, right? It's about 3 foot handle on it. But this one extended out like another 20 inches, which is massive because when you're on a pontoon boat, you're actually sitting pretty high off the water. In the front, probably close to 24 inches off the water. So me not having to like take a knee on the side of the boat and reach down with the net was going to be epically cool. I also thought about modifying them because I like, so like rolling paint, because I paint, and that's part of my jam in construction. They got these really fancy roller poles that I actually have a whole mess of. But the 4 to 8 footer, it's not that much, and I wouldn't mind sacrificing one of those, making like an extension for a net. And see, here's the thing about nets: is nets, you never like take a net like this and like scoop the fish up and then lift them out of the water, because the net will just snap off the end. They're not made for that. So actually what you do is you'll scoop them, and then you'll stand the net up to close it, and you'll grab the sides of the round of the net, and then you'll pull it up straight with the rod sticking up or the handle sticking up in the air, and then you'll set them in the boat. And that's so you don't bust it. So the net's just kind of, you got to know the limitations of the gear you're using. And then what else? Dude, I got a lot of beard comments. Do you guys get a lot of beard comments? I don't like when I'm out walking around. Nobody says anything about it. But on the internet, people are like, ooh, look at the beard. Nope. Not holding my camera. Shaloha, Troll Master. Rapture. Oh, nobody's done it yet. I'll do it. Timeout for 10 whole minutes. 10 whole minutes. Hopefully that was the right person. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Well. Damn, bro. What is wrong with people? Yeah, I'll be honest with you. That's as much as my beard does right there. It doesn't get any longer. Yeah, it's been this same length for probably a year and a half. What's up, sober party? What? What's up, loud? We got the Skunk Fest, but it's bank fishing on not a great lake. That's not very deep. That's got super high waters, and yeah. And then there was like everywhere you wanted to get to, there was people, like swimming, or it was off limits. So it was all right. We had a good time. I fell down. I hurt myself. It was great. The kids were like, oh, "Are you okay?" And I was just laughing and cussing. My toes got scratched up. It was good. It was good. I don't know. I don't think so. They all put sunblock on. Yeah, it was definitely a good time. I mean, we had a blast. Did anybody get sunburned today, Sam Bam?
No.
No? You look a little sunburned on the face.
For real?
Yeah, just a smidge. Yeah, just a little bit right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah. Can we put on a movie now or no?
It's 9:40. We're probably going to go to bed soon. We're going to get up and go to work in the morning, too. Yeah. You know what we're doing tomorrow?
Painting.
Paintings, right? Yep. You know what we're going to do? We're going to load the spray rig up in the truck in the morning and go to work. We're going to blast out some rooms. All right, go. I love you. You can just have a regular show on for a little bit. Then you're going to go brush your teeth.
I'm going to watch a little bit of movie.
Okay, well, when I come out and turn it off, don't get mad at me. Woo, boy. Yeah, making memories. Kind of. The boat's really going to do that, though. Because there's going to be some epic moments for them when they start laying waste to the biggins. And they're like, ah, and the fish is pulling down, and there's nothing but the boat to snag up on, and so they just get it to the surface, and then, I net it for them, and they're like, let me net it next time, and then they knock it off the end of the hook when they try to do it. That's normal. Don't get mad. Hey, moms and dads, or aunts and uncles, or grandma and grandpas, anybody that's out there listening to this, if you take kids fishing, you need to understand you don't get to fish during that time. So if you love fishing, forget about it. It's not your turn right now. It's their turn. And so if you think that for 1 second your gear or your right to just cast one out there and maybe show them how it's done is going to happen, it's not going to happen, brother. You got nothing coming. They're fishing. Have fun with them. Teach them how to do it and just enjoy the ride. And thanks for the prayers for my wife. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the prayers for her mom. Yeah, dude. Justin, right? And the goats we got, which are amazing. Yeah, they're super cool, dude. I was riding one earlier today. I didn't even know they could hold me up, dude, but they can. No, that's not what happened at all. That didn't happen. I would kill one of those. It was cool though, because if I call them over the fence, they pretty much come over and then I can pet them, which is nice. So I've got a petting zoo out front, which is good. Yeah. Yeah, when the kids were real little and I could like leave them in the stroller, I might get one or two fish while I was out there, but you know, and I used to get mad. Yeah, well, my goats are actually pretty cool, dude. They've actually have not been disrespectful at all. They've been very respectful and patient with me. And I think the moment that they start like actually being disrespectful, it's because I'm messing up. Because they're actually really respectful goats. I'll be honest with you, these are as good as sheep are. They're great, maybe better than sheep. What's cracking, Mr. Underwear Man? Sam took control of the living room again.
And I never get to pick. Yeah.
Hey, also listen, what color are your teeth right now? Your teeth are, yeah, go brush up, go brush up. It's about to be bedtime. We're going to work early. We're going to party. You guys are going to spray out apartments and back roll it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit in the truck. You guys can go paint.
No.
What? You have to spray it, dude. It's not like you're doing it by hand. No? Okay, go out of my room. That's it. You're fired. I'll spray it myself, but you're still going to work.
Dada. Can I pick a shell?
Go brush your teeth. And it's almost bedtime. Shut my door, son. Thank you so much. I love you. No, I will karate chop you upside your head like that. Yeah. I would say that I used to say other stuff, but I don't really. I just make ridiculously jokes. Hey, y'all don't be fighting out there. And I don't have any milk. There's no milk in the house. But you know what I just remembered we have? I've got some powdered milk. And that's going to have to do because I forgot to grab milk on the way home. And yeah, so powdered milk it is. It could be could be worse, right? Yeah, it could be worse. I mean, I will drink it black. It's no big deal. But I like my coffee like I love. Come on, women. Sweet and creamy. No, my wife's not sweet and creamy at all. We'll see. A goat burned your house down? Bro. Thanks, Tristan. I appreciate that, brother. What kinds of fish? Well, today we were just doing a little bank fishing, and we were hoping to catch anything. Not that we would eat it if it was unclean for us, or not food, otherwise known as it needs to have fins and scales biblically. Yeah, we're hoping for like crappie or maybe a sand bass or something like that. Hey, don't do that. Give it to Matthew and go out of my room. Give it to Matthew right now. Right now, Sam. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut it soon because these guys are acting a fool. They're all cranky right now. They're so cranky. I'm out of water too, and I got cotton mouth. You know what'll fix that? Is if I eat a little pouch. Stand by. Okay, got it. Uh-oh. Well, here's the thing, dude. I don't drink super hot coffee, especially in the summertime, but really I don't do it at all. I will drink it pretty warm or pretty warm hot cocoa in the winter but I won't do super hot. And quick story, I was fishing probably, I don't know, 12 years ago. Maybe a little bit longer than that. Yeah, it was probably before I got married. So maybe 15 years ago I was fishing, and I'd been out fishing for 18 hours probably, like from early morning, and now it's like nighttime. This was in the winter time, so it never really got above like maybe 38 or 40 degrees during the day. And it's well after dark, so it's probably 7 or 8 at night. And it's dark wintertime cold, right? And it's probably 30 degrees out, maybe 29 or 28. Been on the water forever, and I had a thermos, preheated thermos, and it was a big thermos, and I think it had like a whole pot of coffee in it, and that thermos would stay hot for like 12 hours, like hot for 12 hours every time. But I learned if I put it in my duffel bag with like all my extra warm stuff, and I put it inside of that, it would stay warm like for 24 hours. It'd stay boiling hot almost. Anyhow, so I knew that coffee was in there, and I was cold. Man, I was cold. I was starting to shiver a little bit, and I was like getting tired, and I was like, all right, it's time for some coffee. And I finally cracked this. It had to last me all night because I was doing an all-dayer and all-nighter fishing trip. And I cracked that coffee open, and it was just black coffee. And I took a sip, and I was so cold, and the coffee was so hot, it cracked both my front teeth up. And I was like, nope. That was it for me. I mean, it hurt so bad. My eyeballs hurt because it cracked my teeth, dude. So hot coffee's not my jam. Dude, there's so much happening in the chat. Yeah, sunfish and bluegill are definitely a fun one for the kids. So yeah, dude, I had a blast with them today. I really want to get them on the boat. Couple reasons. One is that they can drive the boat while I'm fishing. To a degree, right? To a degree. I mean, I can't like, all right, you got it from here, you know, like I can't turn my back on them, but they can grab it for a minute, and, you know, I'll show them how to put it in neutral and throttle up a little or whatever they need to do. We'll have some learning curves, so it'll be protocol for safety reasons. Also, what's cool is they all got to wear a life vest, so I don't have to worry about them sinking, which is super cool. Yeah, normally I would be scared to take all three of them on the water, but they're all swim just good enough and listen just good enough, and they get to wear life vests where I'm not nervous really about taking them all out of the water. I would be in a river and heavy current. In a lake, not so much. River heavy current probably wouldn't do it. I would want at least, ideally, it would be one adult per kid. But I would be cool with at least 2 adults and 3 kids. That'd be my minimum requirements, because rivers are a different beast. If you got heavy current and you got rough tree line, trees that stick out over the water, or pylons in the water, you know, like if you're little and you get sucked into one of those, dude, it'll hold you there and hold you underwater. Ask me how I know. I almost died a bunch. I almost died. I was floating the Bitterroot River in Montana, and I was in a fly fishing float tube, and I wasn't paying attention because I was catching this riff and I was watching my line, and I was like, I got it finally. I lassoed it over there just right, and I laid it in there, and my buddy just pulled one out of there, and I wasn't paying attention, and like part of a tree was sticking out in the river, and some of it was right at the water level, some of it was underneath the water, and then a little bit of it was above the water. And when I hit that tree, I didn't like bounce and kind of skip around it. I basically came into the tree like this, and it pulled me so hard into it because of the current, that my tube, the one side of my tube went down and was bouncing and trying to get it. It was trying to suck me over. And so it was like crushing my body up against the logs. And every time that it would bounce, I had just enough to like push myself an inch and push myself an inch and start working myself to the end of the log. and I barely made it out. I don't know how I didn't die really, because I was tied into that thing. I had flippers on. I had waders on, which was, as soon as the water caught me, would have sucked me all the way under. And I don't know how much of that tree was down there, but it wouldn't have been fun for sure. So, and it was cold, man, it was cold. So that would have been interesting. I don't know. I'd probably been all right. Another time I was died on a flash flood. Fly fishing in Montana. Montana's dangerous. It's fly fishing in Montana, and I went across out on this creek. It was called Rock Creek, and it's a really good fly fishing. It's a little creek in the middle of the mountains, and the mountains basically just come down, and then there's like a little road on this side, and then there's like a creek, and it varies in widths through that little valley, but it's not really a valley. I mean, it's just basically the bottom of some mountains, and it's a lot of slate and granite, and it started dumping on us after we fished for about 3 or 4 hours, and I mean, it started dumping. So when we went out there, I barely got across. It was just up, like my waders were here and the water was like right here. And so I barely got across. And it's pretty heavy current when you're that deep in it and it's cooking. It was like making me skip on my tippy toes a little bit. Well, flash flood, because there's nothing to hold all the water. Well, it started dumping. All the water's running down the mountains. Where's it going? It's going in the creek I'm in. And the creek went up about a foot in probably 20 minutes. I mean, like that. And it started dumping and it was lightning, and we're like, oh, we got these rods that are graphite. So we wanted to hurry up and get back to the truck. And so we went back right where we came across, and I couldn't reach on my tippy toes anymore. But when I found that out, it was too late. The water got in the top of my waders and sucked me down underneath the water, and my waders ballooned out and held all the water, and then the current took me. I had one hand up with the fly rod out of the water so my buddy could see me, and I skipped about 100 yards downriver across the bottom, because it was just holding me to the bottom, so I was basically just running sideways on the bottom until I got enough footing where I pushed myself to the side, and then there were some branches hanging down, and I grabbed a branch, and as soon as I grabbed a branch, it pulled me up out of the water, and kind of started kind of surfing to the side. It just pulled me right over, and then I climbed out. It was no big deal. It sounds more dramatic than what it felt to me, but my buddy was freaking out. We also saw some grizzly bears that time too, which was awesome. Oh yeah, I fished the heck out of the Delta. A couple of my spots in the northern part of the Sacramento Delta. So we would go in at Rio Vista, which one of these, maybe I'll put a post on there. Rio Vista, 1922, they were catching sturgeon like crazy there. They had like 12, 14-foot sturgeon, like, and it was common. Like every trip they could go out and catch a big one like that, which are the largest freshwater fish, I think, in the world, I want to say. I don't know that there's a bigger one. I know there's some that are really close, but like maybe the whale's catfish is pretty comparable, but I think that's about it. Because paramayas and gars don't get as big. These guys get huge. Anyhow, so I fished the upper Delta, and Minor Slough was one of my favorite sloughs to fish in. And there was another one just past that, but I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. I think it was called Lisbon. Yeah, Lisbon Slough. And those on the top of the Delta, those are my favorite sturgeon spots. Yeah, that's, sturgeon's where caviar comes from. That's right. Matter of fact, you would have Asians and Russian people always asking you when you were fishing, like, hey, if you catch one and you got the caviar, you want my number? And because they always they'd buy it. I mean, like no doubt, if you caught one and you knew it had a fat belly and it was full of them, or it was spitting them out, you call these dudes, they'd say, don't touch it. I'll be there in like this amount of time. They'd come out, you'd pull the fish out of the water, they'd slit the belly, they'd extract all that stuff, they'd hand you a stack of money, and then they'd leave. Highly illegal. And I never did it, but I know guys that did. Yeah. You know, I think it's okay to eat salmon roe. I don't think that I would eat salmon roe, but I do like trout roe because it's on sushi. Um, yeah, sushi. I love sushi. Only certain kinds though. You never had trout roe? Dude, if you've ever eaten sushi that had like little orange fish eggs on it, that's from trout. They have another kind too that they put on them. I can't remember what it's called, but a lot of the ones were trout eggs that I was having. Later, Zach. Flying fish roe? I don't know. Maybe they have that. But I specifically asked multiple places actually um, if it was trout roe, and they were like, "Yeah, that's from a trout." I said, "Okay, cool." Masago, yeah. So I would say sturgeon don't have scales. All they do have those one like it's like a scale, but I'll be honest with you. If you ever thought about like an alligator or a dragon, like a really thick, hard scale. And the thing about the scales that are on sturgeon, they have 5 rows. They have one up the middle of the back, one on their sides, and then 2 on their bottom. So one on each side, 2 on the bottom, and then one down the middle of their back. They're more like a little like a diamond plate, and it in the middle of it when they're young, in the middle of that diamond, it will be kind of like a rose bush thorn that comes out of it. That's like sharp as all get out. And that's a lot of times when you're sturgeon fishing, you'll see people using like steel leaders or really thick, like 100 or 120 pound monofilament, which is really, really, really thick line. Um, like really thick. I mean, like so thick it takes pliers to tie the knots because it just doesn't work that good by yourself. Um, because they roll when they get hooked, they'll roll on it and they'll twist it up and they'll cut your line. And so that's why I use different leaders for that. That's right, man. Yeah, that's it's crazy because my dad just got back from Alaska with my sister. When I went with him to Alaska, we caught like tiger prawns and crab and something else I can't think of. But like I used to eat all the seafood. Calamari was like one of my favorite things to eat. Um, and now it's like we don't eat any of that stuff anymore. But like fresh lingcod, fresh halibut, fresh salmon. I mean, when you get in the saltwater, fresh stuff like that's bomb. And I haven't had redfish yet, but I've heard they're pretty good. I'm not big on red snappers. Um, the only ones I've had were really fishy. I just wasn't into it. I might have a different palate than I did when I was younger eating that stuff. And sharks definitely don't have scales. Some sharks feel like wet leather, and like a real thick, hardy skin. And then some sharks feel like sandpaper. I mean, like legit, like sandpaper, like a cat tongue. They just feel really trippy. Yeah, dolphin have a smooth, slick skin too. Mahi mahi's pretty good. Um, I haven't caught those. Like when you fish for them, like in the Gulf, you have to go really, really far south. You actually have to have a Mexican fishing license in order to do that, and a passport on the boat, because you're going to cross international waters. Unless you go down to like the Keys in Florida, you can catch them in the Keys in Florida for sure. Um, and it's the same with yellowfin tuna down in the Gulf. You got to go really far out. There was oh, it's actually down Southern California too. Is the same way actually. Yeah, you got to go really far south to do yellowfin. I think that's what it was, California. Yep. Anyhow, but the mahi mahi are really far south, and they're fun to catch. You troll really fast for them, kind of like tuna and stuff like that, and like marlin. They're kind of a trip. Now you can get into a school of them if they're hitting a bait ball, like a ball of bait fish, and just cast into it and just rip lures through there, or drift bait fish in them and still catch them the same way. Or throw, you can throw jigs too if you've got them just hanging out in the spot. But they fight really good, and they do flips when they come out of the water sometimes. I haven't caught any of those. I haven't fished a whole lot on that part of the country, that part of the seas. It's kind of one of those things where I'm looking forward to it. We actually have some family in Florida, so I'll be going down there. I don't think I'll be catching Dorado, but hopefully I'll be catching some snook and some redfish, because that's really kind of what I'm interested in. Tarpon too would be a challenge. I know they're hard fighting fish, and there's a lot of legal stuff with them, but I think you can catch some smaller ones in some of the shallows. That sounds like it'd be fun for me for sure. Kevin, you got some stuff going on with your health, bro? Put it in the chat. We'll pray for it right now. Or Keith, excuse me. Oh yeah, Keith, my bad. Bonefish, yeah, that'd be fun to fly fish for. Yeah, Kevin, put that in the chat. What's up with your health? And we will we'll send a prayer up. I like to pray somewhat specifically. You don't have to put it all out there, but and if you don't want to, it's okay. We're still gonna pray. Oh man, so I was 10 something. Yeah, I gotta go get the kids down here in a minute, so we'll probably pray and wrap it up for tonight. All right, well, we're gonna pray for, where's it at? Keith? Yeah, we're gonna pray for Keith's health. That's what it is. Yeah, Gulf of Texas. Yeah, I want to fish down there bad for grouper and all kinds of stuff. All right, guys, let's pray for Keith's health. I don't know what he's got going on, but Yah does. So let's lift him up to the Father in prayer and let Dad do his thing. Father Yah, we just want to thank you. And Keith has got some health issues, so we just ask that you intervene, Father. We ask that he's asking for prayer. He's asking for your help and your guidance, Father. So we lift him up to you faithfully, and we love you, and we trust you, and we know that you're sovereign over all things, and there's nobody like you. And we just ask that whatever that is, Father, that you can you can solve the issue. And we ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen. Yeah, Keith. That's the one. If I keep saying Kevin, it's okay. He knows who I'm talking about. I'm also super dyslexic, so forgive me. Oh boy. Yeah, I've got the fever, man. I got to get on the water. So I don't know if you guys have ever spent a lot of time on the water, but I've spent thousands of hours on the water, and I can really say thousands, like for sure. And I was going across this dam today, and I was looking across the water, and it wasn't glass. Glass is cool, but it's not really my jam. I like a little bit of breeze. I like it to break the water up just a little bit. And I just remember the feeling of being way out there and just like seeing the shore off in the distance, and just like this peace that comes over me when I'm out that far. And it's just me and him out there, you know. It's like I gotta fully rely on him, because it's I mean, it's an adventure. Also, I've gone out in some super shady boats where maybe I shouldn't have went out there, and so it's always been an adventure for me. Yeah, see, I'm not like a deep in the woods feeling the same way thing. It's never really been my jam. I'm a water dude. So like something about being on the water for me is very peaceful. Or even by the water. It's been epically good for me. But yeah, and I'm also looking forward, like the name of my business is gonna be Fins and Scales, so it's gonna be really fun. To have that up and running. It's going to be a good little springboard to like talk to people about, especially when they ask me about catfish and other fish that we don't eat. You know, and read the room. You know, some people don't want to hear about any of that stuff, and then the spirit's going to do what the spirit does, and that's it. And so I will definitely do my thing. You know, you guys know how I get down. If you've ever seen me on deployment, I know a few of you have, or men's retreat. Boy, if you come my way and you have any doubts, boy, I'm not letting up. I'm like a little pit bull. I'm gonna hold on to that thing until something happens. That's right, Palmetto. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna jump off here for tonight. I appreciate you guys. Thanks again for the super chat, brother. What's weird is I have been on YouTube doing lives for a long time, on my channel. And I have got 12 cents from Google from all the super chats. That's it. That's all I've ever collected off of YouTube is 12 cents. So we'll see. Yeah. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys. I will have some cool videos coming up. Some kind of before and afters on the boat. Also some maiden voyage stuff that'll be coming up soon. I got some work stuff that I'm going to share with you guys about, and also some pretty cool testimonies of people that are going to be coming out this way. Also, if you feel led to do it, pray for Jimmy Carr. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but pray for him. Lift him up and just pray for that brother. He's not doing super bad, but he needs your prayer for sure. He needs our support. So lift him up in your prayers. Love you guys. I appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Shalom.